Video is to show you how to use the GSPOC decline placement form. This is a standalone form, which means deployment is really simple compared to what we have done, but it is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to start at our home screen like we normally do. In the top left-hand corner, you see the 3 lines. And then we're going to go to library first. I've got my library right here. I'm going to drop it down and change it to GSPOC. Make sure you're in the correct library up here. This is, it's easily found here in the all folders. We can find it as GSPOC decline placement standalone survey. It's in the folders as well, but real easy to start here, and we can just click on this to view it. Decline placement for GSPOC, student information, decline, signature. Pretty cut and dried. This is a standalone survey. It is not linked to the master focus database. It is entirely user supplied, and that's just for ease of use. There's no reason to overcomplicate this. Kid is declining, so pretty cut and dried system. So we're going to close this preview. We're going to do what we always do. Click the gear, copy it, drop down, ensure that your library is selected. Once again, never change anything in the GSPOC group library. You must make modifications in your own library for the sanity of everyone. Drop down and you're going to put it in your GSPOC registration folder. That's where you're keeping all of your materials for this. For the purpose of this training, I'm putting it in my training folder, but you will use GSPOC registration. Leave the title the same. Hit copy. So now that it's copied over, drop down, ensure that you have switched to your library. Do not modify the GSPOC library. Ensure that you are switching to your library. And then now, it will be in your registration folder, my training folder, I have this GSPOC decline placement standalone survey. Okay, so that right there, pretty simple. I'm going to go in and I can edit it here if I want to. And let's see if there's anything that I want to change. I might just want to make it say, you know, the school, maybe Trimble Tech. You don't have to. Doesn't change anything. But keep in mind that anything you modify here is going to change the translation. So how do you do that again? Left-hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4 down, survey options. The only option you're going to see is going to be the translation. So which one did I change? Well, I changed the top one, decline placement for Trimble Tech. Okay, well, de la Escuela Trimble Tech. Sure. Sorry, Spanish speakers, if that's not quite right. Doing this on the fly. Click through the rest, double check, make your modifications as necessary. Nothing to change. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my library because I've double checked everything. But this time, instead of adding this to an existing survey, I'm going to deploy it as a standalone. And that's really simple to do, but there's some steps to it. So go back to your top left, your 3 lines, go to your projects. You will be in your GSPOC registration folder. I'm in my test folder because this is a training environment. And I'm going to just top right, follow my cursor, create a project. I'm creating this from scratch, but not entirely, but you'll see what I mean. So I'm going to click survey from scratch, bottom right, get started. We're going to call this, it doesn't really matter what you call it, but it's helpful to be descriptive. I'm using Trimble Tech here. You're going to put this in your registration folder. I'm going to put it in my test folder, but you will use your registration folder. And instead of creating a blank survey project, I'm going to use a survey from my library. Which library? That one. Which survey? You're pulling it from your registration folder, of course. I'm pulling from training. That one, GSPOC decline placement. Click it. So make sure that aside from the fact that you're putting it in your registration folder and not your training or your test one, create your project. It'll crunch a little bit, takes a while, it's got to put everything in the right spot. So it imported all these questions. And I can actually go in and edit this here if I want to, because it isn't linking, it's basically copying it. Whatever the case, let's say I'm perfectly content with this. Remember, check your translation. 1, 2, 3, 4 down, survey options. And down here, and it's a different view because we're in a different part of the program, click on translations. Is it enabled? Okay, we are good to go, 100%. It's all ready to go. Excellent. So if we're ready to go, we can either go back to the survey builder and publish from there, or we can publish right here. Okay, ignore all that. Hit publish. So I have a link I can send out. I'm going to post that on my website. You can copy it easily. You can hit OK. You can pull your link from the distributions tab. It's called anonymous link. Please do not use emails, personal links, social media, offline, or downloads. You can use the QR code if you want. That'll work just fine. Post that somewhere. And then just as usual, everything's going to roll into the data and analysis tab once there's data to collect.